Have you ever stopped to ask yourself what truly matters in life, especially as you grow older? As the years pass, the constant hustle of our younger years fades, and we are left with a deep, powerful question. How can we live more intentionally and joyfully in our later years? In this video, I'll share the profound changes I've made in my life, ones that have not only brought me peace but also a renewed sense of purpose and fulfillment. Whether you're just beginning your journey towards slow living or have been on this path for some time, the insights I offer will provide you with practical, yet deeply meaningful ways to live a richer, more intentional life. You'll learn why letting go of habits that no longer serve you, like watching TV mindlessly or constantly buying new things, can open up your life to deeper satisfaction. I'll also show you the power of slowing down, from being mindful during meals to disconnecting from social media, and how these changes can bring you peace, contentment, and a healthier sense of self. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to embrace the beauty of slow living, whether through simple joys like gardening, savoring a meal, or reconnecting with loved ones, and why it's never too late to start. If you're ready to transform your approach to life, embrace tranquility, and experience a sense of fulfillment you might not have imagined, stay with me until the end. You won't regret it. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. 1. Letting go of television and mass media. There was a time, not too long ago, when television was the unquestioned center of my world. Like so many others, I'd come home after a long day, and without even thinking, my hand would reach for the remote. It was automatic, instinctual. TV was a companion, a backdrop to my evening, providing a steady stream of news, talk shows, and the latest dramas that I felt I needed to watch. It was as if these programs were a part of my very existence. The news informed me, the talk shows entertained me, and the dramas offered me a brief escape from reality. It all felt normal, almost necessary, like breathing. But as the days turned into weeks and the weeks into years, something started to shift inside me. It was subtle at first, just a quiet voice in the back of my mind saying that something wasn't quite right. The more I watched, the more disconnected I became, not just from the world around me, but from my thoughts, feelings, and desires. Television, once a source of comfort and connection, began to feel like a constant distraction, a noise that drowned out the softer, more meaningful parts of life. The relentless buzz of commercials, the sensationalized headlines, and the fast-paced, overly dramatic plots of TV shows started to feel suffocating rather than satisfying. Instead of offering nourishment for my soul, television was filling my mind with a constant stream of mindless noise. I can't fully explain how it happened, but after an evening spent in front of the screen, I often felt a deep sense of restlessness, anxiety, and emotional exhaustion. The noise of the television didn't leave me with peace. It left me feeling empty, like something had been taken from me. My mind was cluttered, my heart was drained, and my soul was left yearning for something more. It was at that point, though reluctantly at first, that I decided to begin reducing my TV consumption. At first, it felt almost impossible. There were moments when I felt as if I were missing out on everything. The latest news that everyone was talking about, the viral show everyone was binge-watching, the social currency that came with knowing what was happening in the world of mass media. It all seemed so important. I was worried that by stepping away from television, I was going to lose touch with what everyone else was doing, and in turn, I'd lose a part of myself. But, as time passed, something incredible began to happen. The more I distanced myself from the screen, the more I gained in return. I began to rediscover parts of myself that had been buried under layers of distractions. I found myself reaching for books, diving into worlds I had long neglected. I began to cook with more intention, savoring the art of creating meals that were nourishing, not just for the body, but for the spirit. I even started spending more time reflecting on my day, contemplating moments that might have otherwise slipped by unnoticed. These small, yet profound changes created a sense of fullness in my life, something I hadn't realized I was missing until I experienced it again. Perhaps the most surprising transformation, though, came in the form of sleep. Oh, how television had been robbing me of that sacred space. No longer did I fill my evenings with the noise of TV shows or the intrusive thoughts of sensationalized news. Instead, I created a bedtime routine that was peaceful and soothing. I would pick up a book and let its pages carry me away, or I'd sit quietly in stillness, reflecting on the day, journaling my thoughts, and letting my mind find rest. Those simple changes, those small acts of self-care, led to deeper, more restorative sleep. Waking up in the morning became a gentle experience, not one filled with grogginess or the remnants of a mind that had been overstimulated the night before. In my heart, I knew that letting go of television wasn't about giving something up. It was about opening myself up to a new world of possibilities. By relinquishing the constant stimulation of TV, I found that I had more room for the things that truly matter. Meaningful conversations, creative pursuits, and quiet moments of reflection that nourish the soul in ways mass media never could. Life, when you pay attention to it, is full of beauty and meaning. The small moments, the ones that go unnoticed in the rush of everyday life, are where we truly find ourselves. So, if you're considering cutting back on television, I urge you to see it as an opportunity, not a sacrifice. Because in the end, it's not what you're giving up that matters, it's what you're gaining. And trust me, the rewards are so much more than you could ever imagine. 2. No longer shopping for new things all the time. As I reflect on the many decades of my life, a striking realization emerges. Society has placed an overwhelming emphasis on the act of consumption. We're constantly bombarded with messages that urge us to buy, upgrade, replace, and acquire the latest shiny object. For much of my life, I too was swept up in this whirlwind of relentless purchasing, convinced that each new item would bring a sense of fulfillment and happiness. I remember the rush I would feel when I bought something new, a gorgeous outfit that would make me feel confident, a high-tech gadget that promised to revolutionize my life, or the excitement of redecorating a room to create a fresh, stylish space. Shopping became a form of escapism for me, a way to fill the emptiness or the spaces in my life that I couldn't quite articulate. But as time went on, I began to question the true value of it all. Was the fleeting joy I felt when I acquired something new truly worth the cost, both financially and emotionally? Did the act of shopping provide me with lasting contentment, or was it simply a temporary distraction from the deeper, more meaningful aspects of life? Looking back now, I realize that I've grown in ways I never anticipated. In my later years, I've come to deeply cherish and appreciate the things I already own. There is something profoundly satisfying in simply maintaining what I have, nurturing the items that have stood by me through thick and thin. It's as if I've discovered a new kind of peace in caring for my belongings rather than constantly seeking out more. I've found joy not in accumulating, but in the gentle art of repairing, repurposing, and upcycling what would otherwise be discarded. This shift has not only transformed the way I view possessions, but has also brought me an unexpected sense of fulfillment. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Take, for instance, a chair I've had for years, a once pristine piece that has become worn and weathered with time. In the past, I might have considered replacing it with something newer, sleeker, and more modern. Yet, instead of following that impulse, I chose to invest time and care into reupholstering it, preserving its soul while giving it a refreshed, renewed look. Every time I sit in that chair now, I feel a deep connection not only to the comfort it provides, but also to the history it holds. It's a quiet reminder of the years we've shared, of the memories it holds, and the love I've put into restoring it. This mindset has gradually extended far beyond just furniture. I've learned to look at clothing, kitchenware, and all my household items with a new set of eyes. A sweater with a small hole? Instead of tossing it out in favor of a new one, I've learned to mend it, to breathe new life into it. The pots and pans I've had for decades have become my trusted companions in the kitchen. Rather than succumbing to the pressure of upgrading, I've taken the time to care for them, to appreciate their durability and the craftsmanship behind them. This deeper appreciation for the things I've owned for years, even decades, has given me a profound sense of gratitude, something I never felt when I was constantly chasing after the latest trend or product. In shedding the need to perpetually shop, I've also lightened my emotional load. No longer do I feel the weight of needing to keep up with the world's constant demands for consumption. The pressure to be part of the cycle of endless buying has dissolved, and in its place is a growing sense of freedom. The act of letting go of the need to constantly acquire, to endlessly seek more, has freed me in ways I never expected. I now feel an emotional release from the consumerist expectations that once held such sway over me. There's beauty in embracing simplicity, in appreciating what already exists, and in finding joy not in the act of accumulating, but in the art of caring for what's already mine. 3. Freeing myself from brand names and status symbols. When I was younger, I was consumed by the need to display success through material things. The brands I wore, the car I drove, and the possessions I owned were my identity. I thought these outward symbols defined me, not just to others but to myself as well. Each brand name, each designer label, and each shiny new item was a confirmation of my worth. Wearing a specific logo or driving a high-end vehicle made me feel important, like I was achieving something grand, like I was finally living the life I was meant to. I thought they were the keys to happiness and validation. But as I've grown older, and admittedly, as I've faced life's inevitable challenges and transitions, I've come to understand something deeply important. Those things, those status symbols that once seemed to hold so much power, are so fleeting. They're not truly significant. Sure, they might offer a temporary thrill, a fleeting moment of feeling special or successful, but they don't lead to lasting joy or fulfillment. I've come to realize that chasing after these material symbols often distracts us from what truly matters in life. The relationships we nurture, the health of our body and mind, and the sense of peace that comes when we stop trying to prove ourselves to the world. Letting go of that relentless desire for brand names and status has been one of the most liberating decisions I've ever made. The freedom I've found in no longer caring about the labels that once ruled my life is indescribable. It feels like a weight lifted off my shoulders, like I can finally breathe again. I no longer feel the need to flaunt a logo on my clothes or impress others with the brand of car I drive. What matters to me now is comfort, simplicity, and functionality. I ask myself, does this thing bring me joy? Does it serve a purpose? If the answer is no, then it has no place in my life. This shift in my mindset has also dramatically reshaped my view of success. No longer do I equate success with the accumulation of things. I no longer measure my worth by what's parked in my driveway or what's hanging in my closet. Now, I see success in the quiet moments. The moments when I am at peace with myself, when I'm surrounded by people I love, when I feel a deep sense of purpose in my work, and when I make meaningful connections. Success to me now is not about the outward appearance. It's about the richness of my inner life. I've learned to cherish experiences over possessions. The truth is, no designer bag or high-end watch could ever bring me the same joy that a deep conversation with a friend, a spontaneous adventure with loved ones, or a peaceful walk in nature brings. I find more fulfillment in simple, honest moments than I ever did in keeping up with the latest trends. Take my love for growing vegetables, for example. The joy I feel from nurturing a tiny seed and watching it grow into something that nourishes me and my family is immeasurable. It's a quiet, humble kind of success, but it fills me with a sense of pride and accomplishment that no luxury item ever could. Cooking a meal from scratch, sharing it with the people I love, laughing and talking over the dinner table. These are the moments that define my life now, and they are far richer, more fulfilling, and infinitely more rewarding than anything I ever thought I needed to possess. To those who are still caught in the cycle of pursuing the next shiny thing or trying to live up to society's expectations, I urge you to pause for a moment. Take a step back, breathe, and reflect on what matters. Ask yourself, do these material possessions, these status symbols, truly bring you happiness? Or are they simply tools to keep up with a world that values the superficial over the substantive? I can tell you from my journey, true happiness and fulfillment come not from what you own, but from the love you give, the moments you share, and the peace you find within. Fourth, disconnecting from social media. The meteoric rise of social media has completely transformed the way we engage with the world around us. It's given us the ability to instantly share the moments of our lives, stay in touch with loved ones across miles and oceans, and even explore ideas, cultures, and stories we never would have encountered otherwise. For many years, I wholeheartedly embraced social media as a vital tool for staying connected with friends and family, especially when life seemed to pull us in different directions. It became a lifeline to a world that was, at times, too far away. But over time, something began to shift. What was once a source of connection began to feel more like a weight around my neck, a heavy burden that I couldn't quite shake off. The truth is, despite its promises of fostering bonds, I began to feel increasingly isolated after every scroll, every post, every notification. The pristine, often unrealistic portrayals of other people's lives, photos of dazzling vacations, extravagant celebrations, seemingly perfect relationships, and effortless career successes, left me drowning in comparison. Instead of feeling inspired or uplifted, I felt small and inadequate, like my own life was dull and meaningless in comparison. It was more than just envy. There was a growing sense of emptiness that I couldn't ignore, like I was standing on the sidelines of my own life, watching others live their best moments while mine seemed to slip through my fingers. And then there was the mindless scrolling. I would find myself endlessly scrolling through posts, images, and videos, each swipe a moment lost to the digital abyss. I wasn't just consuming content, I was consuming my time, my focus, and my peace of mind. I checked my phone during meals while talking to friends, and even while sitting in quiet, beautiful moments alone. It wasn't just a bad habit, it was an addiction, one that I couldn't shake, no matter how much I tried. And so, I made the bold decision to cut the cord. I deleted my social media accounts. At first, I felt a surge of anxiety, a fear of missing out on the connections I'd worked so hard to build. But that sense of relief, that rush of liberation, was far stronger. It felt as though I had freed myself from a cage I had been unknowingly trapped in. Without the constant barrage of updates, status posts, and notifications, I was able to rediscover what it felt like to truly be present in my own life. No longer distracted by the digital noise, I began to cherish the simple joys of face-to-face conversations, the warmth of handwritten letters, and the quiet moments of real connection that I had once taken for granted. These real-life connections were far deeper, far more meaningful than anything I had experienced online. I had rediscovered what it meant to really live. In the days that followed, I realized something I hadn't expected. I had gotten my time back. The time that had been swallowed up by endless checking of my phone, the time I had spent chasing after likes, shares, and followers, was now mine to fill with what mattered most. I found time for hobbies I had long abandoned, for reflection, and for simply existing at the moment. My days were fuller, not because I was doing more, but because I had stopped distracting myself with things that didn't truly matter. I began to nurture my soul instead of feeding the digital machine. If there's one thing I'd encourage anyone to consider, it's this: try disconnecting, even if just for a short time. Take a step back from the constant digital noise and see what happens. I promise you, there's an entire world waiting for you. The real world. You might just find that life becomes more peaceful, more meaningful, and far less stressful when you're not constantly measuring your worth by someone else's filtered, curated highlight reel. It's a decision that might just change your life, as it did mine. 5. Avoiding big cities and fast-paced environments. In my younger years, I was captivated by the magnetic pull of city life. The buzz of activity, the relentless pace, the endless opportunities. It all felt like an exhilarating dance. The city was a living, breathing entity, filled with a contagious energy that pushed me forward, making me believe that success and excitement could only be found in those bustling streets. I couldn't get enough of the lights, the noise, the movement. It all felt like the very pulse of life itself. The promise of limitless possibility was intoxicating. However, as time has passed, my relationship with the city has changed dramatically. The same elements that once thrilled me now feel suffocating, like a weight I carry without even realizing it. The noise that once seemed so vibrant now rings in my ears as a constant reminder of the chaos that surrounds me. The crowded streets, the honking cars, the endless advertisements flashing by, they all contribute to an overwhelming sensory overload. The constant rush of modern life, with its relentless demands, leaves me feeling more drained than invigorated. I've come to realize that what I once saw as energy now feels like an exhausting drain, pulling at my soul and making me long for a more peaceful existence. The city, in all its grandeur and busyness, seems designed to keep us in a constant state of motion. It's as though the very streets are built to push us to consume, to keep moving, to always be doing something. There's no space to breathe, no room to think, no place to pause. Everywhere I turn, there's a flashing sign, a crowd of people, a noise, a distraction. Even the buildings, towering and impersonal, seem to demand my attention in their sterile, steel and glass beauty. It all contributes to a relentless noise, a buzz that never stops. And in the midst of it all, I've started to feel a deep disconnect, a sense of being lost in a sea of faces and events, constantly moving but never really arriving anywhere meaningful. It was only when I started stepping away from the cities, when I permitted myself to experience a different pace, that I began to feel the weight lifting off my shoulders. There's a profound peace in quieter, slower environments. The simple act of walking through a forest, breathing in the fresh air, or sitting by a serene lake, these moments feel like a balm for my weary soul. In nature, the world slows down. The rhythm of the earth doesn't demand anything from me. It simply allows me to be. There, I can hear the whisper of the wind through the trees, the songs of birds, the rustle of leaves underfoot. The gentle hum of nature brings me back to a place of calm, reminding me of the simple joys that exist when we allow ourselves to pause and appreciate them. It's in these moments of stillness that I feel most alive. I feel rooted in the present, in a way that the city's frenetic energy never allowed me to experience. In the quiet, I find myself again. The person who doesn't need to be constantly moving, constantly achieving, constantly on edge. I reconnect with a person who can find joy in a quiet morning, in the feel of the earth beneath my feet, in the warmth of sunlight through the trees. These are the moments I treasure most because they allow me to be present, grounded, and deeply connected to myself and the world around me. I know that not everyone has the privilege of completely escaping the city. Life often demands that we stay, that we work, that we keep moving. But even within the urban chaos, it's possible to find pockets of peace. A quiet park corner, a serene street with fewer cars, a hidden garden. These are the small sanctuaries where we can take a breath, slow down, and recalibrate our senses. The power of these moments should never be underestimated. They don't just offer a break from the noise. They offer a chance to reconnect with what truly matters, to nourish our minds and bodies, and to feel whole again. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment below to let me know that you are still here with me. For me, avoiding fast-paced environments isn't about turning my back on the world or withdrawing from life. It's about choosing spaces and experiences that feed my soul, rather than depleting it. It's about embracing the stillness, whether it's found in the heart of nature or a quiet corner of the city. I've learned that it's not the hustle that defines a fulfilling life. It's the moments of pause, the deep breaths, and the quiet reflections that allow me to grow, heal, and truly live. 6. Not rushing through meals. As I've grown older, one of the most profound and unexpected changes I've experienced is in the way I approach food. Food, I've come to realize, is so much more than just a means of sustenance. It's an experience, a ritual, a moment in time where we have the chance to nourish not only our bodies but our spirits. It's a chance to connect with those around us, to reflect on where our food comes from, and to show gratitude for the simple act of eating. When I was younger, however, meals were something to be hurried through, something to check off the to-do list. I don't think I ever fully understood the depth of what eating could mean. Food was simply something I shoved into my mouth to keep me going, an afterthought in the busyness of daily life. Looking back, I can't help but feel a tinge of regret when I think about how many years I spent eating while distracted, rushing through meals as though they were just another task on a never-ending list. Whether it was grabbing a quick sandwich before rushing out the door for an appointment or eating mindlessly in front of the television after a long day at work, I was always on the go. In those moments, food wasn't something I cherished. It was just a way to fill the emptiness, both physically and mentally. I would barely taste what was in front of me, and I would often rush to finish, thinking about the next thing I needed to do. But as life slowed down and I began to reassess my priorities, I found that I had been missing out on something incredibly important: the joy of truly experiencing food. This realization didn't come overnight. It's been a gradual awakening, a shift in how I view food and the role it plays in my life. Over time, I started to embrace a slower, more mindful way of living, one that encourages me to be fully present in each moment. It was then that I discovered the incredible joy of eating mindfully, a practice that has not only changed the way I relate to food but has also transformed my health, my relationships, and my overall sense of well-being. One of the first things I did was begin preparing meals from scratch. I started choosing fresh, wholesome ingredients, paying attention to the quality and origins of the food I was putting into my body. There's something deeply satisfying about chopping vegetables, stirring a simmering pot, or kneading dough by hand. It's a slow process, but it's filled with intention and love. Cooking has become a form of meditation for me. I take my time, appreciating the colors, textures, and smells of the ingredients. The kitchen, once just a place for hurriedly throwing together meals, has transformed into a sanctuary where I can create something beautiful and nourishing. The process of cooking has become an act of self-care, a chance to slow down and permit myself to enjoy the rhythm of preparing a meal. And then, when it's time to eat, I make it a point to sit down at the table, free from distractions. No phones, no television, no rushing. It's just me, my food, and the people I'm sharing it with. I have learned to appreciate every bite, to taste the food I'm eating. The first bite is always a revelation: the crispness of fresh vegetables, the depth of a rich broth, the warmth of a home-cooked dish. I savor the flavors, the textures, and even the memories that the food evokes. Whether I'm enjoying a simple breakfast of eggs and toast with my spouse or sharing a festive holiday meal with my extended family, I take the time to be fully present, slow down, and honor the meal in front of me. Mindful eating has had such a profound impact on my health. I've become more in tune with my body's hunger and fullness signals. No longer do I eat mindlessly until I'm stuffed, overwhelmed by a sense of guilt or discomfort. I've learned to listen to my body, to recognize when I'm truly hungry and when I've had enough. This has led to a more balanced, healthier relationship with food. I find that I'm more satisfied with smaller portions because I'm truly savoring each bite. There's no need to overeat because I'm fully enjoying the experience of eating. It's a feeling of contentment I never experienced when I rushed through meals, only to feel bloated and unsatisfied afterward. What's more, slowing down and eating mindfully has helped me avoid the digestive discomfort that I used to experience after eating too quickly. It's incredible how something as simple as chewing slowly, savoring each bite, and taking time between mouthfuls can improve digestion and leave me feeling lighter and more energized. It's as though my body has been thanking me for this new approach to eating, for finally giving it the time and respect it deserves. For me, meals have become a time of connection, not just with the food I'm eating, but with the people I'm sharing it with. Eating has transformed from a solitary or rushed activity into a shared experience that brings us closer together. Whether it's a quiet dinner with my spouse or a festive holiday feast with my extended family, I feel deeply connected to the people around me as we break bread together. There's a special kind of magic in sharing a meal, in passing dishes around the table, in exchanging stories and laughter while enjoying the flavors of the food. I can't help but think back to how many meals I missed out on, simply because I wasn't fully present. I wish I had known sooner how much more fulfilling eating could be if I had only slowed down and embraced the experience. But now, with a greater appreciation for food, I find myself more content, more grounded, and more connected to the world around me. It's a simple practice, but it has brought a new level of joy and mindfulness into my life. For anyone looking to embrace a slower, more intentional way of living, I wholeheartedly encourage you to start with your meals. Take the time to truly enjoy the food you're eating. Turn off the TV, put away your phone, and focus on the flavors, the textures, and the experience of eating. You might be surprised at how transformative this simple practice can be. It's not just about nourishing your body, it's about nurturing your soul, your relationships, and your overall sense of well-being. In a world that often demands us to rush, eating slowly and mindfully offers a rare opportunity to slow down and fully appreciate the beauty of the present moment. 7. Letting go of the need to be busy. In our modern society, there's an overwhelming belief that busyness is synonymous with success. We are constantly bombarded with messages that equate productivity with worth, as if the more packed our schedules are, the more important we must be. Our calendars overflow with appointments, meetings, social events, and obligations, and we push ourselves to the brink, thinking that if we just keep moving and keep doing, we will be seen as valuable. But as the years have passed and I've had more time to reflect, I've come to understand that constant busyness is not a true measure of success. It's often a sign of something much deeper. We are running from the things that matter most, from the things that give our lives meaning. As I've grown older, I've started to see the futility of living a life driven purely by the need to be busy. I used to fill every single moment with activity, believing that staying busy meant I was achieving something, that I was moving forward in life. But what I've come to realize, and what I've come to deeply feel, is that this constant hustle doesn't bring fulfillment. It only leads to exhaustion, anxiety, and a sense of disconnection. It's as though we're running in circles, checking things off a list, but never actually getting anywhere meaningful. It took me a long time to come to this conclusion, and I'll be honest, it wasn't easy. For a while, I felt guilty whenever I wasn't doing something. There was a nagging feeling in the back of my mind that told me I needed to be accomplishing more, achieving more, getting more done. But as time went on, I began to realize how much I was missing out on. How much of life I was letting slip by because I was too caught up in the rush of it all. I was neglecting the things that mattered. My peace of mind, the people I loved, and the small, quiet moments that make life truly beautiful. So, I decided to make a change. I made a conscious decision to let go of the need to constantly be busy, to permit myself to just be. It's been a process, a slow unfolding of what it means to live with intention and mindfulness. And honestly, it's been a revelation. I've learned that my worth is not determined by how much I accomplish in a day. My value doesn't lie in how many tasks I check off or how full my schedule is. Instead, I've discovered that true fulfillment comes from carving out space for the things that truly matter. Things like rest, connection, and reflection. These days, I am much more intentional about how I spend my time. I no longer feel the need to say yes to every invitation or to fill every empty moment with something to do. I've realized that it's okay, no, it's necessary, to take breaks, to take time for myself. I've started saying no without guilt, prioritizing my mental and emotional well-being over external expectations. I've come to cherish the quiet moments, those moments when I am not doing anything at all. It's during these moments that I feel most alive, most connected to myself. Now, instead of rushing from one task to another, I embrace the simple, powerful act of doing nothing. I'll spend entire afternoons curled up with a good book, losing myself in the words and stories, allowing my mind to wander and relax. I'll take long, peaceful walks through the park, savoring the sound of birds chirping and the rustle of leaves underfoot. There's something incredibly calming about these unstructured, unhurried moments. They remind me that I don't have to be constantly moving to be making progress. In fact, in many ways, it's the stillness that has allowed me to grow the most. I've also started to appreciate the beauty of solitude. It's in those quiet, solitary moments that I've been able to reflect on my life, to truly listen to my thoughts, and to reconnect with my inner self. I've found that in the absence of external noise, I can hear my voice more clearly. I can feel my own emotions more deeply. I can truly sit with myself and embrace the fullness of who I am, without distraction, without pressure, without the weight of 1,000 tasks hanging over me. This shift in perspective has brought so much peace into my life. I no longer feel the need to justify taking time for myself or to explain why I'm not busy. I've realized that rest is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's essential for my mental, emotional, and physical well-being. It's in these moments of stillness that I've found clarity, creativity, and a renewed sense of purpose. It's in these moments that I've been able to cultivate deeper, more meaningful relationships with the people I love because I am no longer rushing through life, but rather truly present with them. If you're reading this and find yourself constantly overwhelmed by the need to be busy, I encourage you to take a step back. Look at your life and ask yourself, are all these activities, all these tasks, truly serving you? Are they bringing you joy, peace, or fulfillment? Or are they simply filling up the empty spaces in your day to keep you distracted from the deeper things in life? If the answer is the latter, then perhaps it's time to let go of the things that aren't serving you. It may feel uncomfortable at first. After all, we've been conditioned to believe that busyness equals success. But I promise you, there's so much beauty, peace, and joy to be found in the spaces between the tasks. When you allow yourself the grace of doing less, you might just find that you create space for so much more. More peace, more contentment, and more meaningful connections with the people who truly matter to you. In the end, it's not about how much we do, but about how deeply we live. It's about finding the courage to let go of the need to always be busy and instead, embracing the simple, profound beauty of just being. 8. Practicing gratitude and reflection. Embarking on my slow-living journey has been one of the most transformative experiences of my life, and if I had to pinpoint one habit that has had the most profound impact on me, it would undoubtedly be practicing daily gratitude and reflection. In the fast-paced, chaotic rhythm of life, it's all too easy to get swept up in the constant rush, always thinking about what's missing, what's next, or what could be better. But as the years have passed, I've learned a vital lesson: to pause, to breathe, and to simply be. More than that, I've discovered the importance of looking around and acknowledging the countless blessings that are already present in my life. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. This habit, though simple, has been life-changing. It has granted me a sense of peace and contentment that I never thought possible. Now, each day, I carve out moments, whether it's first thing in the morning when the world is still waking up, or just before I close my eyes at night, as the silence of the evening envelopes me, to reflect on what I am truly grateful for. And it's not the grand, once-in-a-lifetime events that I focus on. No, it's the small, seemingly insignificant moments that make life so beautiful, like the quiet comfort of sitting with a loved one, feeling the gentle warmth of the sun caress my face, or hearing the birds chirp outside my window as if they, too, are celebrating the simple joys of life. These are the moments that often go unnoticed, but they've become the foundation of my well-being and my inner peace. I've come to cherish them in ways I never imagined. Focusing on gratitude has made me realize something profound. Life, even at its most simple and ordinary, is incredibly rich. The act of appreciating the small things has allowed me to see beauty where I once saw nothing. It's as though the lens through which I view the world has shifted. Everything seems brighter, more vibrant, more meaningful. There is a deeper fulfillment in my soul that wasn't there before. And perhaps the most surprising gift of all is how gratitude has transformed my relationships. I've learned that love and connection aren't just built through grand gestures, but through the simple act of showing appreciation. A heartfelt thank you, a thoughtful note, or just being present, fully present, in the company of those I care about. It's these moments that weave the fabric of stronger, deeper connections. In doing so, I've come to understand something truly profound. Relationships, like everything else in life, require conscious attention if they are to truly thrive. They don't grow by accident. They need nurturing, care, and, most importantly, mindfulness. The practice of gratitude has taught me to be more patient, more understanding, and more attuned to the needs of those around me. And, in turn, it has allowed me to be a better friend, partner, and family member. Reflecting on life, too, has taken on a new meaning. Instead of drowning in regrets or obsessing over what could have been, I've learned to look back with a sense of peace and gratitude. Every challenge, every setback, every mistake has been a stepping stone to personal growth, and I now see the lessons woven within those experiences. This shift in perspective has allowed me to embrace my past with compassion, rather than judgment. The mistakes I once berated myself for have become valuable teachers, and the times I thought I had failed have become some of my most profound moments of growth. If you're new to practicing gratitude, my advice is to start small. Don't overwhelm yourself by trying to force big moments of enlightenment. Instead, take a moment each day, just a few minutes, and acknowledge what you are thankful for. Write it down, say it out loud, or simply sit quietly and let the feeling wash over you. Over time, this simple practice will begin to change the way you see the world. It will transform how you feel about yourself and your life. And more than anything, it will open the door to a deeper sense of joy, fulfillment, and contentment that permeates every aspect of your daily existence. As we move into the later years of life, we're granted a precious opportunity to reflect on what truly matters. Slow living, at its core, is not about withdrawing from the world or retreating into solitude, but rather choosing to engage with life in a more intentional, mindful, and meaningful way. It's about savoring the moments that truly matter, letting go of the unnecessary noise, and embracing a life that feels authentic, grounded, and full of purpose. The later years are a gift, a chance to reflect on all we've experienced, learned, and loved. And I believe that embracing this slower, more thoughtful approach to life is one of the greatest treasures we can give ourselves. So, as we wrap up today's discussion on the power of gratitude and reflection, I want you to take a moment to pause and reflect on what you've learned so far. We've explored the simple yet profound habit of practicing gratitude, the transformative effect it can have on our lives, and how it helps us slow down and appreciate the beauty of the present moment. But now, I want to hear from you. What's one thing you've learned from today's video that you'll commit to practicing in your own life? Is it taking time each day to reflect on your blessings, or perhaps being more mindful of the small moments of joy in your everyday routine? Whatever it is, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please share with us in the comments below. What will you take away from this video, and how do you plan to integrate it into your life moving forward? If you found this video helpful, don't forget to leave your comment, like the video, and share it with someone who might benefit from it as well. And of course, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Your support means the world to us, and we look forward to sharing more inspiring and thoughtful videos with you in the future. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care and keep reflecting.